Now FC25 is back to manual defending after this recent patch, from defending one-on-one being difficult to conceding the same identical goals every time, and it seems there's nothing to do about it. Here are my top 5 tips which I'm now using to adjust to this manual defending style and concede less easy goals. If you want cheap and safe coins, visit u7buy.com for cheap, safe, and fast, reliable coins. Remember to use my discount code DRFC for 8% off. Check link in the description. When defending one-on-one, defender positioning is the most important thing. To tell if your opponent is a good defender, look at the way he positions his defenders. Just make sure you position your defender in front of the opponent's player. Here, you have to block the space towards your goal, and everything begins from this point of positioning. Like in this position, I'm not straight in front of my goal, but I still vision the opponent's way towards my goal and lock my defender in that position. And when my defender is in that position already, I just proceed to approach or apply pressure to the ball holder and challenge for the ball. You have to be reactive. Move your defender to block that space towards your goal. Like here, I had to sprint to close it up in time. A good positioning is accompanied by good defender movement, and that's using the Jockey system, the L2 or L2 plus R2 for fast jockey. But there's a jockey trick I recently discovered, and it's a very effective way to defend. I call it precise jockey. Here you slightly press the jockey button. Here's what I mean. As you see, I'm using the speed jockey. The sprint button input display shows that I have pressed the button normally, but the jockey button shows that I have slightly pressed it. You can understand it by the light differences. This makes it easier to tackle the ball. Your tackles will feel much smoother and more accurate every time you use this trick. And also, it's easier to control the movement of your defender when overcommitting in any direction. You can try it yourself and tell me in the comment section about your experience. Now let's talk about basic tackling real quick, beginning with observing ball contacts. A lot of opponents will make these heavy touches, like when sprinting. Just move your defender close and press the tackling button to win possession easily. The opponent makes it easy for you to win the ball if he makes a heavy touch because he loses control of the ball that second. And when you press the tackling button circle, it's a perfect moment to win the ball because his play can't do anything at that moment. Another way to tackle effectively is to get close to the ball holder. Don't tackle when you're far away from the ball. You have to move your defender close and wait for the right timing. Like here, the opponent faces my defender, leaving the ball open, and I tackle to take it. But remember, positioning has to be the #1 thing. After you move close to the ball holder, press circle to tackle the ball. But when you face good dribblers, you have to be super patient before diving in for a tackle. Wait until they make a move, then get close and tackle away the ball. In this current patch, I recommend you to use the advanced defending, such that when you're chasing down the opponent's player and when you get close, you use the shoulder push. You press X, and your player uses his body to push the opponent's player off the ball. This works against opponents who play counterattack football. Here, you get yourself into those situations often. Then we have the slide tackle, where you press square and your player slides to tackle the ball on the ground. To use it, you just have to observe ball contacts when your defender is behind the opponent's player or defending from a chasing position. And here, you have to be moving your defender diagonally because the tackle is more aggressive. Now let's talk about player switching. We have the L1 switch, call it the quick switch. When you press L1, the game selects the closest player to the ball, best for switching in tight spaces or quick control over a defender to apply pressure immediately. Like here, the opponent takes a through pass, and I switch to my fullback using the L1 switch because he was close to the ball. He breaks to cut inside, anticipating a pass. I use L1 still, and the game selects my center back. As I approach, he takes a one-touch pass. Then immediately I use L1 and control another center back, get close, and tackle the ball. Switching, the main key is to do it in time. How quick you are determines how important your switch is, so you have to always be fast when switching players. Then we have the right analog switch. As using L1 switches to the closest player to the ball, the right analog switch gives you free control to switch to anyone you want all over the pitch. You just flick the right analog towards the direction of that player from the defender you're currently controlling, and as simple as that, you gain control over that player. We use this tool to switch to the furthest defenders from the ball to take an appropriate defensive action, like cutting passing lanes. This makes your defense so hard to break because you can cut passing lanes from any angle. Then also closing up space. This is so important, and the defender you need to close up space sometimes can be further away from the ball. And using the right analog switch, you control that defender, then move him into position to tighten the situation and reduce room for the opponent. Then also dragging back defenders and using the right analog switch, you can control any player from different angles. So you can use it to drag back players and overload your defense. Suitable for defending counterattacks, like when the opponent has a running player in behind moving forward for a deadly through pass, you can use the right analog switch to select that appropriate defender and track that run manually to stop that pass. And here, you have to make sure you first sprint back if it's necessary, like in this situation. Junior is so fast, sprinting back to create this space. Then when the opponent releases the ball, or when the runner is getting close to your goal, use the speed jockey to be reactive and win the ball. Talking about defending counterattacks, sometimes you have to be super patient and reactive. When defending counterattacks, and when the opponent has multiple options, positioning your defender in the middle reduces the risk of being outplayed in those scenarios. Like that situation when the opponent has two options, the pass and the space, here you don't commit to either one immediately. Otherwise, he will take the other option. First, position your defender in the middle of these options, and then wait for the opponent's decision. He has to decide. Otherwise, your players are recovering. And if he goes for the space, like in this example, then approach and apply pressure to the ball holder and challenge for the ball. Then if he goes for the pass, you're still in a position to adjust and intercept.